Happy Thursday. Today is Thursday, September the 16th, 2021. Today's daily Bible readings come to us from Psalm 1. It's the first one. Proverbs 31 through 10, 1 Corinthians 2, 1 through 5. Or you could have read Psalm 54, Judges 6, 1 through 10, and then 1 Corinthians 2, 1 through 5 again. I'm going to take a look at 1 Corinthians and talk about sophists, because who doesn't want to talk about sophists? Who were the sophists? Well, that's a good question. So anyway, it's kind of a philosophical movement. If you want to read about sophists, go read Plato, because he talks plenty about them. Doesn't really like them. He in a lot of the dialogues that he wrote down that were supposedly from Socrates kind of does battle with him. But a really awkward, ugly thumbnail sketch is they were a group known for their ability, and they really pride themselves on this too, their ability to use their speaking skills, their rhetorical skills. So they could stand before a crowd of people and use their smooth talking skills to convince the people to believe one thing, and then shift, just pivot on one foot and start arguing the other side, and before the crowd knew it, they'd be agreeing with the opposite side. So the major criticism that people Plato, Socrates had, and keep in mind, you really should go read the classics yourself so you understand what I'm not doing a good job of explaining this. But the major criticism was that they weren't really concerned with the truth as much as they were concerned with their ability to how well they could speak and how well they could sway people. The fact of the matter didn't count. Just the fact that they could make you believe what they wanted to. That was a major criticism against them. Which is what made me think of that. What made me think of the sophists? Well, because Paul here in this text, he faced a decision. That's what he's telling us about. He faced a decision when he first met the Corinthians, when he first came to them with the gospel. And, he asked himself this question. He's like, do I rely on my smooth talking skills? Not that he was a sophist, but he had been well schooled in the art of rhetoric, right? Which is really just how to speak and convince people. He had been well trained in that. And he's like, do I rely on that? Do I rely on all my schooling? Do I pull from all that training to coax them into believing, just talk them into it? Or do I trust in Christ and simply trust in the powerful message of the gospel to convince them? And he decided to lay aside his wisdom and just let the gospel speak for itself, which, thinking about it, was probably the wisest thing he could have done. So anyway, why is that important? Well, I think a lot of us don't really talk about the good news and don't share the good news of Christ because we don't really think we're that wise, and we don't really think we're that good at speaking. And you're probably right. You're probably not. But the gospel simple's pretty message. And all you have to do is get that simple gospel message down and just let the gospel speak for itself. And generally, that's going to do a pretty good job of convincing people of their need for Christ. Anyway, that's the DBR for today. Get out, have a good day, and we'll talk at you later. Boop.